Right, now it's a blown out day, so this poor man who's been working really hard is about to get his brain frazzled. Now there was a question and a discussion asked the other day, details were deliberately not gone into, and he's had no preview on this, but apart from the fact not to give the final answer, but we're looking for a light bulb moment, a sort of Yahoo, a Eureka. And this is to do with the way you launch and the way you land. Now, one bit to know, just in case any directions are mentioned in this video, is that this is a left-handed pilot. So if it's right-handed pilot, if there are directions given, they'd be mirrored. Okay, ready for this, Grant?
As ready as you'll ever be.
As ready as you'll ever be, particularly at the end of a Friday, a long Friday working week. Okay, now, what were you talking about regarding the issues on post-landing? The wing is still above you and you've just landed. What did you tend to find was happening?
It was collapsing in front of me.
No, the wing is still above you, so that's okay at the moment. This is on the sort of breezy situation, say at Ely and Errol's Ferry down at Ruby Bay.
What was the finding was happening?
Yes.
Oh, it was going to one side or the other.
Okay, but when it was still stable. Now this is, hopefully you can read from the facial expression, this is genuine, this has not been set up, because this is important from the teaching point of view. Which way were you turning?
I was turning towards the one.
Yeah.
Which
so
was
what?
wrong.
Right. So your question with me was whether to change the way you set up for launch. Yes?
Oh! No, the question was that. Did I think I know what you're getting at now. You're getting at that after I had landed.
Yes, while the wing's still above in a nice breeze situation.
Oh, right.
Yep.
The way I turned
to
cross the lines.
Yes, the way you turned to cross the lines.
Was naturally to go that way.
Yeah.
Which was basically, if the centre of the turn was my left shoulder, my right shoulder was the arc.
Right, okay. I'm not going whether left or right or anything like that, but just keep going, because this is genuine, this is what I'm wanting.
Basically, I was turning anti-clockwise.
Yeah.
To get the crossovers before bringing
So were you ending up with a left over right or a right over left?
I was ending up with left over right.
Which is the way that a right-handed pilot would launch.
Would launch.
Yep. Okay, so you were discussing as to whether you should change from launching the way that's more common for left-handed folks, the way I teach it, to the way that right-handed folks would launch.
Yes, that was the question.
Okay, and you're wondering whether that was the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to think through it, take it step by step, but because it's important for students not to know the answer in advance, if you're quite happy you've worked out the answer, don't particularly give it on camera. Okay, now, which way did you turn? Think about how I asked the questions. Did you turn to the left or the right, or is that the?
That's the wrong
question. Okay, did you turn clockwise or anti-clockwise, or is that actually the same?
After lifting the wing up, you mean before pre-launch?
Yep, at the start.
I turned the same way.
I turned
anti-clockwise.
Is that actually the same question, effectively, as the left or right? It is really the same question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, without giving the answer away, which way should you turn to face the wing while your workload is low, while your arousal level, technical term for fear, is low? Which way should you turn?
I should turn the other way, clockwise.
No. Now remember, I don't actually want to give the answer on camera. Is one way slightly, without saying the word, and one way slightly?
Right.
Okay, remember how we go through the question. Ask left or right, or is that the wrong question? Clockwise or anti-clockwise, is that the same question?
It's the same question, but a different way.
Yeah. Yes, and then I ask a totally different question. And I don't want to give this on camera, but do you turn the or the? Can you remember it?
Damn, no. It's nothing to do with the wind direction, is it?
No.
No. No, I can't remember it.
Okay, what I'm going to do is going to shut down the camera.
Right.
and then I'm going to put up a second clip in a minute once we've discussed this. And this is quite important for the students learning, that they don't have the answer in advance because they've got to think it through.
Right.
So I'm going to talk you through it off camera, and then we'll put this back on.
Okay.
Okay, so what was, as soon as I said the words, what was your reaction?
Oh Christ, yeah.
Because it's so obvious once that's programmed in.
Yeah.
Okay, now think about that answer, but we don't really want to give this because it's important for students not to know in advance. So on landing, were you turning the
Easy way.
Shh. Don't give the game away. Yep. Okay. Can you see the point now? Now, does that make perfect sense?
Well,
so
yeah, you're turning the way that's most natural for you.
But again, we don't want to give the whole game away.
Yeah.
So can you see, all it is on landing you need to turn, don't say,
yes.
Yes, to make sense. So is your takeoff actually right?
The takeoff is right, because that's the same way.
So you don't want to change the takeoff way. It's actually the opposite way, but you don't want to change it because it is set up.
Because I am comfortable with the way that it's set up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm comfortable
You're
with
right.
the takeoff
Now, can
set
you see how it was actually that your question was a good question, very important question, but was actually wrong?
Yeah.
Because what we need to do is think about the extra stages, and that applies to the landing, just in case you're then landing on a slope and ready to take off again.
Yes.
So that's just a case of practicing something that isn't as easy, because the important part is done the correct way for the correct pilot, i.e. left, right-handed, all the rest of it. Makes sense now?
Yep,
Holds together?
Yep.
Thumbs up? But is it hard work?
It is.
Mentally.
It's hard work mentally analysing it.
But once
it becomes natural, the natural
not so much
response,
natural,
once
but programmed. Once it becomes
once
programmed, and
you program the habit,
and
then it's natural.
And you understand the reasons behind
yeah.
it. And it's not just understanding as sort of, I learnt that in the book. It becomes cored in knowledge, and then you can apply that to many other situations in paragliding. So once you've got the tricks in this, you apply it to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and it cross-pollinates.
Yeah.
So all of these things come together, and suddenly everybody else is on a hillside struggling, and it's their local hill, like Hubert flying down at Pool Hill. The local guy's getting dragged about all over the hill.
You arrive, you've never been there before.
And Hubert comes up and does the most lazy, most efficient launch you've ever seen, and yet to our standards, it wasn't that great. You know, it was way above the guys that are familiar with the site and the conditions, but for us, room for improvement.
Right, okay.
So, let's go back to tea and biscuits.
Yay.
And thank you very much. Best of cookies. Cheers.
Cheers.